It's the end of April and roses are not blooming yet, but there is a plant which is growing in front of my garden, and it is in the family of roses, and it is blooming right now and having the best week of its year. It is double take deep red quince, and it is in front of my house, and I just want to show you and talk to you about this plant, how to grow it and how to enjoy its beautiful luxurious blooms in spring. Just look at this shrub. It is this quince is a deciduous shrub, so it loses its leaves in the winter. It has somewhat awkward, not very attractive growing habit. It's stiff, but you know what? When it's in bloom in spring, this performance is beautiful, and it's not lasting long, maybe 10 days, 14 days, and then quince is starting to lose its beautiful blossoms and they fall to the ground, and quince starts growing, producing green shoots. The growing habit is somewhat suckering, and here is a little new plant which is just produced this, I believe last year it started growing, so you can say that quince is producing suckers, but not very much. I probably had 3 or 4 in the last 6 years we are growing this shrub. And let me tell you, it's a very hardy, drought-tolerant shrub. It is, if you see where it's growing, it is growing in this island between the parking lot and the entrance to our house. And this area is notoriously very dry and very inhospitable soil. And last year we had horrendous drought here in this area of Connecticut. And this shrub took it in stride. Is that how you say it in English? Stride. Okay, I'm learning. My cameraman is helping me. So, and this plant took it in stride, survived no problem, created all these beautiful blooms this spring. And if I wouldn't trim it, it would be growing probably another, I don't know, another 2 feet it will put on. And it's getting somewhat big for this area. So after quince will stop flowering, I will do the trimming right away, very important, because these beautiful flowers are being built on old wood, meaning when quince stop flowering right away, it starts building buds for next year. So right after quince finishes these beautiful blossoms, I'm going to take secateurs and shave probably 1 foot out of it because it's getting to be too big. A very vigorous grower for me here, I must say. And once it finishes blossoming, then the appearance of the shrub is quite, I would say, average. So quince is not a great volunteer for being a 3-season centerpiece in your garden. It's an average looking shrub during summer and fall, but in spring, for a short period of time, it's blooming with the whole richness of different colors, by the way. This is dark red. They come, I believe, in pinks, oranges, whites. So I must say that red is not my favorite of the colors, but you know what? I appreciate the generosity of blooms with which this shrub graces every year. Now, the soil requirements. Soil should be slightly on acidic, neutral side. I say that in clay, heavy clay, alkaline soils, quince will struggle and wouldn't give you so much blooms. And by the way, if you give your shrub a nice trim every year, it will reward you with better blooms. Because once we wound the stem, it creates more stems at the top of that, you know, at where you wound the stem. And as a result, my shrub has more branches and more possibility of creating flowers. Now this quince is decorative flowering one, and it doesn't have any thorns and it doesn't have any fruits. It's just a decorative plant in the garden. The only serious requirement quince will have it wants to grow on a full sunny location. It will tolerate shade, but then it's not going to reward you with all this magnificent performance in spring. And because quince is very, it's not thorny like other quinces, but if you look inside, it has a lot of branches, and if you do a lot of trimming, you can turn it into a very interesting hedge, protective hedge, and a lot of animals would not be able to penetrate it. As you can see, it doesn't lose its, doesn't have its bare legs, so it has branches going all the way down to the ground. And my quince is what, 7 or 8 years old? So you can see it's a fairly big shrub. If I will let it go, it probably will go another feet. It's slowly coming out into our sidewalk here, and I constantly have to trim it back. It responds very well to trimming, and if you want to see it as a hedge, just keep in mind that these shoots grow very fast, and you would need to trim on a regular basis, probably every second week. And I'm not sure if gardeners would want to do something like that. So this is it, the beautiful performer, just for 10 days. And that's it. From the Rose family. Happy gardening. We will see you around.